Before we start this episode, I just wanted to take the time out to send condolences to the family of King Von. And if y'all are unfamiliar with King Von, he's a young guy out of Chicago. He just dropped his debut album, Welcome to Old Block, 7 or 8 days ago. He was gunned down in Atlanta. And unfortunately, he didn't make it. Just these type of situations, they don't ever sit well with me. I mean, death is something that I've experienced from a very young age. 5, 6, I've witnessed murder happen in close proximity. So murder never sits well with me in any situation. But they affect me a little bit more when you know somebody was like, if not almost out, completely out of that life. And when I look at situations like King Von's, it sucks, man, because all I see is a family in Chicago that had the opportunity presented to somebody in their lineage to be able to break the cycles of oppression that America done put upon people from our communities. And it always sucks when you see somebody who you know could have changed the trajectory of a whole family's life in the hood. So that shit always bothers me, man, when one of these young dudes make it out and right as they make it out, somebody kill him. I don't know the situation with dude. I don't know who he was beefing with or what. I don't know what exactly. I'm not familiar. I literally opened up the episode last week with his debut album, Welcome to Old Block, and praising him because I thought the album was dope. So I'm really new to the kid, honestly, and I was impressed with Youngin. Youngin had some skill, so just sucked to see that happen, man. So just my prayers is with the family and the fans affected by the loss of King Von, and rest in power to the young king. And before I start this episode, I also want to send prayers and condolences to the families of Oskino and Philadelphia Freeway from state property. Now, both of those guys have lost their sons. And that's a fuck, like me as a parent, I just left a bad taste in my mouth, man. Because I think about that every day. Just something happening to one of my kids, or me losing my kids before they get to really get out here and experience the world, man. And I know that those two gentlemen, I don't know if they had beef in specific, but I know Oskino and the rest of state property, Oskino and PD Crack wasn't really getting down with the rest of state property, and they've had issues. But I saw Oskino tag Freeway in his post about them sending condolences to one another, and I guess that's the silver lining in that, is that I could hope that I see all these groups reuniting. I hope that these horrific tragedies can at least get these guys to sit down and talking about some of their own differences, because life is really, I don't want to say it's too short, but in a lot of cases, life's too short for shit like that, man. So just my prayers and condolences to the families of King Von, Freeway, and Oskino, man. Rest in power to everybody lost in those situations. Now, with that being said, Volume 4. Let's get going. Greetings, and what up, though? Man, we're here to talk about some things today. It's a slow news week, so we're just gonna kick it a little bit, shoot the shit, man. So, before I get into these things, I'm gonna address my last rant. It was filled with a lot of passion, but I understand that the perception could be that, this nigga is irate, because I was yelling and shit. But I was yelling because I want to yell. Sometimes you just gotta yell. I think yelling is very therapeutic. I'm one of them people. I don't recommend yelling at someone, but sometimes you just gotta let that shit out. And I was seeing just a lot of our people, man, just arguing and berating each other over over this elective process. And I think we should keep a lot of that shit in-house, was my really major point in all of this. So, yeah, I don't be tripping over this shit, man. I don't take a lot of things seriously, but sometimes you gotta yell. Yell don't just make you feel good. Do some things that make you feel good. I do a lot of things that make me feel good. I yell from time to time. I blurt out random shit. I do Jim Jones ad-libs. I'm spooky, like for no reason. Just make you feel better. Sometimes you need a healthy, it might be some toxicity to that, but sometimes a little bit of toxicity helps. As long as you're not unleashing it on nobody else, because we need to stop making other people be the catalyst for our toxic traits. But anyway, since we're on the subject of the election and the elective process, hey, it took us 5 days, but we finally have a president-elect. And Joe Biden with a VP. First, let me correct myself. The first woman, the first black woman, the first woman, period, and the only black woman to win the vice presidency, Kamala Harris. I hate to say that wrong, Kamala. Really, I hate when people say Kamala, because the Kamala's a wrestler. I'm sure there's some history to that name. But, yeah, man. I don't know. I don't have a feeling toward this shit. Like, I saw everybody celebrating yesterday, and I'm like, hey, good job. I got that bubbly. I get it. Dance. Pop bottles. Do what you gotta do. Celebrate. But let's not forget that this election, we still need to hold these people to the fire and say, yo, you promised us all this shit. The election was ran, the entire process, the prior process, I'm sorry, I got the 5 heartbeats on in the background. You can't just not look and see if 5 heartbeats is going. The entire process was ran on black issues. So, come January 20th of 2021, y'all gotta get on that shit ASAP. I'll give y'all a year to atone for some of y'all sins and all that shit. Or else you got some splaining to do. So, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about the last video, right? I think my signals got crossed because I got passionate in what I was saying. My initial stance was to come in there and crack some jokes about Ice Cube and Lil Wayne, honestly. But watching everybody bicker back and forth on election day, because that's when I literally did that video, was on election day. Watching everybody bicker back and forth was just it was making me irate to some degree. I was just watching everybody do that. But Ice Cube and Lil Wayne, man, like, what are y'all gonna do? Like, not them specifically, because they all right. They gonna be set for life regardless. Their oppressive cycles were broken. They kids got dads, funds, all that shit. They families are straight. While we sitting there obsessed with celebrity in this country about every fucking thing. For me, like, this cancel culture, first and foremost, like, if I haven't said this is my first episode, fuck cancel culture, because cancel culture is not a real thing. But I think that Ice Cube got his signals crossed, maybe, and they used him as a pawn, and he probably should have knew better. I don't even think Lil Wayne was fucking, I don't even think he know where he was at or what was happening. I don't. And maybe he did, because they're people of wealth, and people of wealth want tax breaks and all that shit. So maybe they did have selfish agendas going in that room and trying to, I don't know. But that's not for us to worry about. We getting lost in the large, we not looking at the large picture of things. We so busy worried about Ice Cube and Lil Wayne, and we got a whole journey to go. We can't worry about these motherfuckers. And my point in me saying it, like I said, is give people a chance to act out whatever they doing before we start, they canceled, fuck them niggas, like, because at the end of the day, you canceled them for not endorsing Biden. Meanwhile, y'all hated Hillary last election for y'all's premise on that was that she locked all her and her husband, locked people up. She seemed disingenuous, all of this shit. Well, Joe Biden was a part of that same 94 crime bill that y'all all hated Hillary for. So y'all want to condemn Ice Cube and Lil Wayne for not speaking up for somebody that y'all vilified the last Democratic candidate for. Does not make sense to me logically. But, shit. Here you go. Look, y'all. You ain't. Here you go. A night like I literally watched this movie just for this part. But, like I said, man, that logic makes no sense to me. And like I said, Ice Cube, he's trying to do something for the betterment of our people, even if he got the signals crossing, he might have made a miscalculation or two. Give him the chance to recover it, man. And like I said, Lil Wayne didn't even know where the fuck he was at. Lil Wayne was probably in there looking like Tony when Gina walked in the Scarface reference. Tony, when Gina walked in the room after he killed Manolo, and before she get to shooting him and shit, and he confused like, what you talking? Lil Wayne was probably in there. They probably was giving that nigga photo options and telling him some tax break shit, and he was in there going, hey, what you talking? Lil Wayne didn't know what the fuck was going on. But despite that, am I getting gray? Oh, that's a no. Had to. That's my shit. Anyway, yeah, man. Like, that's the wrong thing. You need to be worried about the Magaz with attitudes and not the niggas with attitudes. Because the Magaz with attitudes is what we need to be worried about. Trump still got 74 days in his office, some shit like that. And them Proud Boy motherfuckers, I went to go try to look for their Facebook groups yesterday, when the announcement was announced that, you know, because I know they in there low, that stand up and stand by, whatever the fuck you said to them motherfuckers, they serious. Those militias and those different terrorist organizations, they serious about their president, bruh. And they want war about their president. So we need to be, like I said in that last video, get you some guns, get you some things, you know, get you the goods you need to suit up and boot up for these motherfuckers when they attempt to exude their rage for their guy not being in office, because it is coming. It's coming, bro. And y'all need to be worried about them Magaz with attitudes instead of the niggas with attitudes. And the Magaz with attitudes is coming. They ready right now. Right now. They ain't coming straight out of Compton. They coming straight out of motherfucking cornfields with them guns and them red hats. So we should be on that type of shit. Because before you run into Jethro, you gonna meet, I don't know, what's a redneck? That's a good redneck. Straight out of cornfield, a crazy motherfucker named Jethro. I fucked my sister because my granddaddy said so. All right, I'm bullshitting, man. But they just came to give Kamala her flowers, man, and congratulate old Crazy Joe, because they got a job. Or really, I should be congratulating them right there. I should be congratulating the city of Detroit, and the city of Flint, and the city of Saginaw, and the city of Grand Rapids, and the cities in Michigan that are predominantly black and overlooked, and they flipped Michigan on y'all ass. Because if y'all don't know anything about Michigan, we here, the Detroiters, and they got this other part, and all of this shit is rednecks and hicks and motherfuckers that don't agree with us. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4 places here in this whole thing where we did some shit. And I ain't saying that our white counterparts didn't help us. I'm just saying predominantly they're more than likely from those cities of impoverished, marginalized people. So shout to Georgia and and Nevada and just other places, man, that got this election flipped. But like I said, man, either way, the outcome in places like where we from, it's kind of the same. So we need to hold them accountable, and when they get in there, start voicing our opinions and not forgetting to go to local legislatures and get that job done in that regard. But with that being said, I just want to talk about Myself. Uncle Vick Rants, man. Look at me. I want to give myself some flowers too. I'm giving everybody flowers. Look at me go. I'm a month in, man. Officially. This is my 4th volume, even though I started October 1st, so I've been a month in already, but I took a week off right upon starting this because I had a friend that passed in the end of September, so I wasn't all the way there. But I'm excited for this venture, man, and salute everybody that's been showing me a lot of love. People been calling me, telling me how proud they were of me for starting this, and I guess I don't have enough followers yet to have haters, so I've been getting a lot of love, and thank y'all for that, man. I appreciate that. And I guess talk about what I've learned in the past month. I learned that even the most insecure person can still have annual insecurities or indoctrinated insecurities, because I'm not I don't embarrass easy. I'm just not a person that I don't have self-esteem issues for the most part. But while posting the first episode, I had some insecurities, man. I was worried about things. I'm like, oh shit. My speech impediment. I talk with a stutter for those of you who have not noticed. Perception. What is people gonna think about me? People may not like it. Cancel culture. I got a different way of seeing the world, and I know nowadays it does not matter what you say. They can chop up a clip and make it look away, or just misinterpret you completely, because that's the type of world we live in now. We've abandoned sensibility and the ability to be able to detect sarcasm or punchlines, or be able to take a joke or any of that shit. So upon posting this shit, I had some worries, man, and I learned that I'm not as secure as I think I am. And in that kind of made me feel good. It was therapeutic. I have not felt this type of feeling since playing sports for the first time, or writing or jumping in ciphers around my friends, and just things of those nature that bring out the nerves in you. And they say if something don't make you nervous, then I guess it ain't really worth you doing. I also learned that you have to be careful when speaking on these cameras to not purposely try to offend someone. And I actually was talking to Steph Styles from Need to Know podcast on Twitter. I don't want to say talking to her to make it sound like that's the homie, but no. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but Need to Know podcast is like, I don't want to call him Joe Budden Jr. It's like the little brother to the Joe Budden podcast, and it's hosted by the Joe Budden podcast producer, Savon, and the Screen Man. If y'all listen to Joe, y'all know Screen Man, Alex. It's Savon, Alex, and the young lady by the name of Steph Styles. And she was tweeting about something. I think I responded, and she responded back to me. And we were talking about the LGBTQ community and just the verbiage we use when addressing them. And I found out in that exchange that the word homosexual is wrong based on, pause no homo culture. And I remember coming up, that word wasn't offensive, but I guess rightfully so, that would make sense now with pause no homo culture. So I was basically saying to her that this is why the generational gap needs to be broken, because with them being younger, because like I said, I love Need to Know podcasts. They're like I call them my argumentative, quick-witted little cousins. That's how I view them. It's one of my favorite pods. So I was saying, like me being in my later 30s and them being in their early to mid 20s, this is why the generations need to do this as opposed to always making ourselves separate from one another, because had I not had her there for that exchange, I wouldn't have learned that term was offensive. And that's just generally across the board. We need each other for that reason. The reason of we got some game and some jewels and some things that we can give them if we give it to them without always criticizing them for being different than us. And they got some things just from being in their 20s today that we need to coexist. So I just wanted to shout out Steph Styles and Need to Know Podcast for doing a great job and being motivation for me and my medium, and just for being dope. And she followed me on Twitter, so that was even dope. Salute to you, Steph. And while I'm giving flowers, I guess I'll give flowers to some music. And y'all know me, man. I always come to talk about music because music moves the world for me. Music is my safe haven. Honestly, if they took all of the music off of the world, off of this earth, you could take me with it. I wouldn't even want to be here without no music. And that ain't me saying I would leave my kids or anything. I'm just saying that music is that important to me. And hell, they probably was made to some music. I don't think so, I remember. But I mean, do you make kids without music? Maybe you do. But I wanted to talk about, before I leave, Dej Loaf. Now, I was watching to see the thing is, I figured since I'm in the realm of talking about podcasts and affiliated with Joe Budden, I was listening to See the Thing Is with Mandy, Olivia Dope, and Bridget Kelly. How did I almost forget that? It's like female Joe Budden. It's like Joe Budden podcast with no misogyny. Even though I love a good misogynistic podcast, I mean, or just a good misogyny and energy in general, if it's in fun. Like, we still need that battle of the sexes balance, as long as it's in fun and there's some shit talk. If you seriously trying to offend somebody, you need to go somewhere and get a hug. But I didn't like how they kind of downplayed Dej Loaf album, but they did say they'd go back to it because they didn't hear much of it. And I didn't like that because more than likely when a podcast says they're going to revisit something, they don't really revisit anything. And Dej Loaf has a decent album. And I understand that her sound is niche though. If you don't get into that, she kind of has the same octave in her voice like a Nate Dogg per se. Even I'm not comparing her to Nate Dogg. I know we don't know how to take anything. We don't understand how to differentiate examples from comparison. I'm using an example of a person that sings in the same octave most of the time. But Dej Loaf has a niche sound, which is a smooth flow. And to be honest, she mothered a lot of these flows. You don't get Roddy Ricch. You don't get A-Boogie. Well, A-Boogie was there. I'm not going to say that. But I'm not going to say you don't get them without Dej Loaf. But I'm saying that Dej Loaf was one of the pioneers of that sound. Her, A-Boogie with the hoodie, certain artists. So if you like that bop and you like that sound, you actually like this album. It's a decent album. It's a Sold Soul 2 or Sell Soul 2, the name of the title. But she got features with Gunner on there. She got Black on there. She got Uzi. She got Big Sean on there. 42 Doug. And she got Big Sean features, Griselda. And all of Griselda except West. She got Benny, Westside Gun, and Bodie James. And I don't know if y'all know who Bodie is, but Bodie's another Detroit artist who was probably more famously known for working with Alchemist, and I'm almost sure he was signed to Mass Appeal for maybe, I know about 8 years ago possibly. He had a joint called My First Chemistry Set, all produced by Alchemist. That's when I got hip to him. That was like 2013. And Bodie is now signed with Griselda, and he's put out 3 solid projects this year. So if you're not familiar with Bodie James, you should go get hip to him too. But she had all of Griselda on one track except West. And I think I mentioned the Big Sean feature, but just a dope album, man. This is just a solid when you in that bop. Now, I think the only takeaway that I have from it, or the only disagreement that I have with it, is that I think it should have came out. I don't know when she recorded this, so you can't say what you think should have happened when you don't even know when these joints was recorded. Like, she could have not had them recorded, but I would have liked to hear this album in a more summertimey, you know, that sort of vibe, like a summer's night, a nice night vibe. But it's still nice weather out here, so it's still a good bop. So check out the Dej Loaf album if you get time. But what I really wanted to talk to you about was the Joyner Lucas album, bruh. Evolution. Joyner is a very different type of rapper. I don't know where he's from. I think he's from the Colonials. He could be from Massachusetts or something like that. Somewhere up and past New York. He's in the Colonial area. But Joyner Lucas, somebody that I kind of got into like 2015-ish, somewhere around there. This nigga had a song called Fuck My Son or something. Fuck this little big head ass baby. Like, he was going in on a baby, bro. Like, literally. It's a video because he's a visual artist. And he does things like speaks on the duality of things. Like, if he got a song, he talks from multiple perspectives. And he does a visual for it that paints the picture for you so you understand. He's dope. But in the song, the nigga was like, fuck you, nigga, you little big head ass bitch. You look like, that ain't what he was saying. Like, that ain't what he was saying actually. But the theme of the song was he was dog walking this baby. But when you get the whole story of it, I think it's called Happy Birthday. Because he was, happy birthday, you big head bitch. I hate your ass. I hope your mama die, nigga. Like, that's how he was talking to this baby. I swear to God. I swear to you, bro, this is how he was talking to this baby. But it was like a theme. You gotta watch the whole video to get it. Because when I first seen it, I'm like, dog, why is he talking to this baby like this? But I think he's probably more known for the I'm Not a Racist joint that was like big last year. But he's probably known more by Eminem fans, because Eminem fans like that. He does that like that type of rap. He does that. So, what was I about to say? He has a notorious reputation for being corny, and it's usually when I see people say that, it's usually from super duper hip hop nerd ass niggas, and they be kind of corny themselves. So it's weird to see other corny dudes call other corny dudes corny, but corny is subjective, I guess. And yeah, he's known for being kind of cheesy. But this new album, Evolution, this shit he got a heater, bro. He got a smoker. Like, the whole theme of it, thematically, it follows, I guess, him as a kid through all these different phases. It's almost on some Good Kid, Mad City vibe type shit. But he just got some highlight songs, a lot of real gems, and he still gives you that, because you got, like white boy rap. White boys, like, you would think he was white. I think he might be mixed or something. But white boys love that shit. If they don't, they think that's what hip hop is. Tupac, Eminem, and rappers that go, them rappers, white boys like it. I bet money you ask a white boy if he listen to Joyner, he go, Joyner Lucas, dogs? That's the fucking shit, man. That's fucking real shit right there, man. Like, they love that shit. So I'm pretty sure he got a core cult fan base. But this new album is just, is solid, man. Dope features. He got Game on there, even though I've kind of felt how I felt about Game in the recent years. He's kind of turned me off a lot, but Game on there doing that shit Game does well when he gives you that introspective, and it's a lot of that. Introspective, retrospective, just that's my favorite type of rap. Rappers who, from the gut, they giving you their pain, how they feel. And he got this shit on there, Legend, with him and Rick Ross. That I'm talking about that sample of that, ooh, that shit go. Like, I'm telling you, listen to this Joyner album, man. That's all I gotta say. I ain't even finna give you no play-by-play. The Joyner Lucas Evolution album, he got a smoker. Call him corny, say what you want to say about him, but musically, he got a smoker, and the album is dope. It's one that I've lived with for about 3 weeks. It won't even go nowhere right now. So that is the music I wanted to talk about. And before I get out of here, just wanted to play on what I was saying earlier about the LGBTQ community and words that are offensive. And apparently, I pissed a lot of you straight niggas off. Like if I said a word that was homosexual, I mean that was offensive. If me saying that word should have been offensive to gay people, and I didn't have no pushback from them, and a lot of straight people were mad at me defending gay scenes, and then you can go back and check volume 2 for that, I think. For defending gay scenes in television shows and movies, like, man, fuck off, first and foremost. But if you niggas is offended by that, you need a hug. You got some issues, bro. Like, I seen grown-ass men, niggas that be tough in the street, and they killers, and they the man's man, they alpha. And you niggas is uncomfortable around gay people. Like, I done seen you niggas walking around with guns, take penitentiary chances. You'll get in the car with a nigga that got a pound of weed under the seat and a gun in the glove compartment right now and ride all through a major city with this man, knowing what type of repercussions that could have on your life, but a gay person to make you uncomfortable. Nigga walk around with a shotgun on them, or I've seen you niggas carry exotic animals for pets. You ain't walk around with a boa constrictor around your neck. I could choke the life out your ass, or a albino python to look cool. Niggas walk around with albino pythons around their neck, and you get uncomfortable when a gay dude walk in the room. Man, if y'all don't shut y'all bitch ass up, I had a more eloquent way to say that, but I think shut your bitch ass up that's the right one. And just we live in such a perception-based society that motherfuckers don't even move with no type of sense of morality no more, because they always worried about what somebody fucking think. Shut up. And that brings me back to like my fingers being painted, right? I painted my fingers because me and my daughter was having a discussion, or no, it was things being discussed. Halloween last week, I painted my nails black for my costume. Halloween is my favorite holiday, so I go all out for that shit. And, oh shit, they about to sing. Well, this was one of my favorite parts. When Eddie Kane come back to life, when he come back with the, I feel like, that's the nigga finna go. Come on, go. Let me see. Remote that real quick. Oh, they ain't gonna do it? I don't want to get flagged on YouTube for that, but you know how 5 Heartbeats give it up. Yeah, man, my daughter was like, you're gonna be an E-boy. I'm trying to catch it, y'all, so y'all can catch the shit with me, man. Let's see. Oh, they still ain't talking. But, they talk about, a E-boy. E-boy is a new term for emo kids. And they saw me with the black nails on. My daughter was like, you're gonna be look there like an E-boy. So I said, to show them that you don't have to give a fuck about what people think about you, man. I went and got a bunch of these shits and had my nails painted. I got a little design on one of the fingers. And whatever the case is, because it don't matter. She was like, well, my daughter Skylar asked my daughter's mom, well, what do people think? Hold on. Like, woo, come on. Come on. Going on. Come on. Oh, okay. You ain't never seen 5 Heartbeats. You know what's happening. But I just, like I said, man, perception, we put too much validity and value in other people's acceptance. And that's the reason why I did this shit. And she was like, well, what do people think you're gay? I don't give a fuck what they think. Because I'm more man than a lot of these bitch ass niggas walking around here talking about pause no homo all day, looking for gay innuendo, like in your mind. And I'm not saying I'm knocking like that culture, pause no homo culture. Like if you, like I said, I say it being facetious with my friends and shit. But, man, what you gonna do? Whatever. Think what you want to think. And that's my whole reason for this, is that I want people to understand that you don't have to feel no type of way about people not accepting you for being yourself, especially my kids. And this ain't even my whole thing, but fuck it. Why not? I'm gonna put some nail polish on because I feel like it. I ain't finna say I'm finna put no dress on because that's how niggas gonna be. He got on nail polish, bro, man. That nigga, 3 episodes in, they already emasculating him. He gonna be wearing a dress next week, man. Pause. And then, that's how a lot of these niggas sound to me. But that's like, shut up, girl. Like, I ain't finna be out here looking like Lil Nas Minaj on Halloween or nothing like that. Like, nothing do no shit like that. But whatever somebody do, man, mind your fucking business. So if my final word on anything today is mind your business and let people be them. And be yourself, regardless of how it makes other people feel. Fuck people and fuck cancel culture. And on that note, Uncle Vick out. Cut this up. Can't nobody say him like Eddie Kane Jr. Get this shit going. Put some water on my throat. See if I'm ready to talk this shit. Nothing from nothing, leave nothing. Hey, gotta have something. If you wanna be with me, nothing from nothing, leave nothing. Hey, why the old singers used to put their finger up? Yeah. Oh, God.